I'll start by asking you to tell me a little bit about BlueSprig Pediatrics. What do y'all do?
So BlueSprig Pediatrics is a leading provider of ABA services for individuals diagnosed with autism.
During Autism Acceptance Month, what are some of the things you really want people to know?
So I think, one of the things that I would definitely want, a message that I want to get across is for parents is that there are so many supports available to them. There is so much education that has occurred about what these symptoms look like, what these characteristics are, and how we can help individuals that need that support. And so for parents, it's looking at, if you have a suspicion, if you think there's something going on, don't be afraid to do so. Advocate for, hey, can someone give me some information about this? There's so much that's available now that I think early intervention is so crucial. And the faster we get this information out there, the faster we get our questions answered, the quicker we can begin intervention.
What does early intervention look like?
So early intervention is typically a comprehensive program. It can include different modalities of intervention. So it could be a speech, an OT, or for, like at BlueSprig Pediatrics, we do ABA. And what that is really we're looking at understanding how learning occurs and how we can influence behaviors. We're looking at addressing the symptoms of autism, and what those may look like are maybe some delays in communication. There may be an individual who doesn't necessarily use or understand language in the way that we would think is developmentally appropriate. There's also some delays that can occur in socialization. We may have difficulties with having like back and forth conversations. We may have difficulties with eye contact, difficulties going into a large group of individuals. There may also be some delays in play skills. And what that could look like is a individual maybe not playing with a toy for its intended purpose. So you may have a child who has a car, and instead of taking it and putting it on a car ramp and playing with that and pretending they're going to go somewhere, they may flip that car upside down and spin the wheels and repeatedly be looking at that. So the symptoms are going to look different from each individual. And so when we do the ABA services, what we're looking is addressing those individual needs. At BlueSprig Pediatrics, what we do is we work together with the families to develop an individualized program that takes into consideration how that child learns, what they're motivated by, and what their unique family needs are, and working together with the family to address those needs. One of the things that's amazing about ABA is we're not just looking to teach skills, but we're also looking to ensure that these skills generalize. So we don't want these skills to be taught in a clinic and then only be done in the clinic. We want to make sure that everything we're teaching that child, that individual can now take into their community. They can now be independent at school, in home, in the community, wherever they need to be, that they can access these skills that we're teaching them.
I think it's so hard as a parent because the symptoms can be so wide ranging, and you have kids who are on such a spectrum of how it's impacting them. And in so many cases, it's kind of an invisible disability because it's not something that someone who doesn't know a child can just see or acknowledge right out of the gate. How do you help parents through that process as well?
And so I think this goes back to kind of what we were saying a little bit earlier about just the amount of education that is out there now about what this could look like, and having the confidence and having the ability to say it's okay if you think that there is something going on. If you as a parent, if you're like, I think it's really better to rule out. And so in that instance, empowering parents to say, go to your pediatrician and say, I know he's 2, and that's typically around the time that we start to see more communication, but I have a concern because of blank, and being comfortable bringing those things up. When you go to a pediatrician, they can do a screening. And once that screening is done, they can then determine, is this something that is cause for additional evaluation? Or is this something that we can monitor? But really being able to get out there and feeling confident to say, I know my child and I know that something isn't sitting right with me.
What age group do you serve through 18?
So at BlueSprig Pediatrics, we actually don't have an age limit. We are fortunate that we are one of the few centers, I believe, that actually has an adult and adolescent center as well. So at my location, particular Woodlands West, we work with early intervention. Most of my clients are on the younger toddler adolescent age, but we do have also another location that services adults and adolescents. And then there's a variety of our centers that service all age groups.
That's amazing. That's such a valuable resource in our community because I know autism is being diagnosed more. I just talked to a mom who has a 16-year-old son with autism, and she and her husband started a sandwich shop here in Houston, something that he could be involved in, that he's very passionate about, and something in his name that will help support him a little later. But she said, 10 years ago when we got the diagnosis, it was happening, diagnoses were happening at a far lower rate than they are today. And she attributed that mostly to awareness for parents being able to spot those symptoms and acknowledging and seeking treatment or help learning those skills.
And also awareness. I mean, I love that you said that you spoke to a mom of a 16-year-old, because also understanding that while early intervention yields the greatest result, and there's a lot of empirically supported evidence to show that early intervention really addresses those symptoms during key brain developmental stages, there is support also for the fact that ABA is effective across the gamut, right? It doesn't have to be for toddlers or infants or anything like that. It is effective because the strategies and the tools that we are using, again, are focusing on the principles of learning and how we influence behavior. And that can happen at any age. So there is, even if, like you're saying, maybe there wasn't a diagnosis that was done early on, but now there's a diagnosis, that doesn't mean that there isn't support out there to help. And it's never too late to start intervention. It's never too late to start services. And there is always, I think, across the board, there's always something that we all need to learn, right? So it's just learning. It's ongoing learning, and some people learn in different ways. And so we're really looking at, what is your unique learning style? Do you need to manipulate things to learn? Do you need to read it to learn? Do you need to hear it to learn? We all have that anyways. So it's maximizing on that and going, okay, this is your learning style. This is how we're going to teach you things, right? And it's not to say you have to conform to this. It's to say, we're going to help you so that you can be independent and understand yourself and understand how you need to learn. And then that way you can take that the next level and the next level and be more independent. Ultimately, we're looking at how do we give you the most independence that we can.
That's wonderful. If people took one thing away from this conversation, what would you want them to know?
Don't be scared to ask for help. There is support, whether it be even on our website, BlueSprigPediatrics.com, there's a tab on the right that is full of resources. There is a community of people. I mean, definitely on the internet, there are several groups, support groups. Again, you're going to your pediatrician. There is so much that is available out there. And I think the more you educate yourself and the more you advocate for your needs, you can make a more informed decision about what's going to be best suited for your family and your individual needs versus going, this is my only option, so I have to do this, right? So the more you find out about what is available to you, the more you can then decide, okay, I have options and this is what's going to work best for my family, whether that be, at BlueSprig, we provide services in the community, in the home, in the clinic. Maybe someone this has to be in clinics. That's where my child's going to learn best. Or this might be, I'm having a lot of trouble at home. I need help in home. Absolutely, let's do it in home. So again, having those options and understanding that you have those options are going to yield the best results for you.